Broadcasting from G50, I'm Michael Keller.
And I'm Ben Preston, and it's a great day to be a Dodger.
It's been a great week to be a Dodger. The Attorney General, Matthew J. Platkin, came in to speak to our broadcast journalism class and our government and leadership program.
Today, we're going to highlight his past achievements, his current goals, and the impact he had on our government and leadership program.
It all began here at MHS for the Attorney General. Justin Martin, take a look at his journey.
Today, we take a look into the Attorney General of the state of New Jersey, Matthew Platkin. Some teachers and former Madison students may know Mr. Platkin for being an extremely smart alumni of Madison High School. That's right, the Attorney General is a Dodger. Former classmate, now teacher, Mr. Sakala, said he had leadership skills. Platkin was the captain of the baseball team and was a salutatorian. Everyone thought highly of him, said Mr. Sakala when asked if he expected Platkin to become Attorney General or high profile. Platkin had to say this when asked about his favorite part of high school.
There were a lot. I think a lot of the sports memories, like I said, I think I was saying outside, we weren't so great, but they were really formative experiences. There was a great group of people that we played with and good coaches, and taught me a lot about being a part of a team and sometimes facing adversity. When you're on teams that aren't so good, that's a life lesson. You still show up, you still practice, you still play, get your butt kicked, and then you go and do the same thing again. But I had a lot of great memories here. Great teachers. Mr. Mueller, who I know is not here anymore, was my AP history teacher, and really got me in many ways interested in U.S. history and government, and was just a great teacher. Like I said, I saw Miss Rotting. Mr. Grunfest, who I know just retired, was my coach and my math teacher. Just a lot of really good memories at the school. It's hard to pick one, but just overall, just a great experience here. One that I will say, is I should have mentioned this, 9/11 was my 5th day of high school. So I didn't know anybody because I didn't come from Madison. So I was like 5th day, fish out of water, and 9/11 hits. And we didn't have cell phones. Nobody had a cell phone at that time. And there wasn't access to the internet here. And there were a lot of kids in the high school whose parents worked in and around the World Trade Center. And so that wasn't such a good memory, but the way the community responded to that, I mean, you remember, Joey, like that was, I actually talked about this in my graduation speech at the high school, which I remember, about how the community came together. And, for somebody who was kind of scared at the time, that was a pretty powerful memory too.
After high school, Platkin went to Stanford University where he received his bachelor's art and Juris Doctor. After college, he went to live in Washington, D.C. There he worked in the Brookings Institute, a think tank, in the midst of the 2008 recession. After working in the think tank, he worked as a local sports journalist in New Jersey. He would describe great growth when he worked as a campaign manager for his friend running for mayor of San Antonio, Texas. While there, he would talk to many people and discover his passion for helping. Here he saw the less developed side of America and realized how he should dedicate himself to providing help to people. After San Antonio, he would move back to New Jersey. After attending several political conventions, he would be recommended to our current governor, Phil Murphy. He enjoys this job as Attorney General because he enjoys serving and protecting the people of the.
It's amazing to think that one day one of our classmates could grow up to become the Attorney General.
One day, I could come back here and be talking to a class just like ours about the political state of New Jersey.
You definitely could do that.
I might.
Sure. Well, one of the major items on the Attorney General's plate right now is the Arrive Together initiative.
When Mr. Platkin spoke to members of our student body, he spoke at length about his hopes for the initiative, specifically his goal to make it the first in the nation as a statewide program. You and I spent some time this week taking a look into it. Let's take a look. Michael and I
messed
looked
it up
into
the
so
Arrive
bad.
Together program, spearheaded by our New Jersey Attorney General, Matthew Platkin. With this program in place, mental health experts and plainclothed officers would go to a scene of a mental health crisis together in an unmarked vehicle when a 911 operator deems it fit.
So I just had a question. We did a case study on police reform, and one of the questions was about New Jersey's Arrive Together program. So I was just wondering, like, what are the plans for that, and will every police department, including like small towns like Madison or like where some of us Academy kids are from, like, will every department have the Arrive Together program implemented?
That's awesome that you guys studied it. So Arrive Together, for those of you who don't know, first of all, you should all know that we are a national leader in police reform. We've done it in conjunction, in partnership with the police. We have truly some of the best law enforcement officers in the country in this state, and they have partnered with us on most of our reforms, whether it be we revised our use of force policy, which says when and how officers can use force, including lethal force. And every time force is used in the state, it has to be reported effectively to me within 24 hours. So we can see every use of force in the state. And one of the things we saw out of that is that force is disproportionately used in cases that involve someone suffering from a mental health or emotional distress crisis, which are not traditionally what law enforcement is best trained to handle. And so what Arrive is it's really a recognition that we've asked law enforcement officers to do too much, that they have to be everything from a patrol officer to an addiction specialist to a mental health professional, a social worker, et cetera. And so what we did instead was we piloted a program that started in Cumberland County, way South Jersey, and then we expanded it to Union County, and now as of May, it will be in 10 counties, and the governor just announced that he's going to put in his budget, he's putting funding so that we can do this in all 21 counties and cover the entire state. But basically, the general model is when we have a mental health call, we send someone in plain clothes, an officer in plain clothes, not in uniform, in an unmarked car with a mental health professional. They arrive to the scene together, and then they handle the scene or handle the situation under the direction typically of the mental health professional, so taking a more clinical mental health approach. And it's worked. We've had no injuries under the program. Hundreds of people helped. No one on the Arrive team has arrested somebody, and we get them to better healthcare treatment. So my expectation is that by the time I'm done here, it's going to be operating in all 21 counties, and everyone will benefit from it. And I think it will have a real, if you've seen a lot of the really awful cases, they often involve issues of mental health or emotional distress. So I think it's a reform that, and when we do that, by the way, we'll be the first state in the country to have that statewide. And that's something that I'm really working towards.
Arrive Together is active in Middlesex, Hudson, Essex, Camden, Cape May, Mercer, Ocean, Cumberland, Atlantic, and Union counties. There have been no injuries or arrests in over 300 deployments of an Arrive Together team. Because of this success, Mr. Platkin hopes that with additional funding, the program can grow to be statewide.
After hearing Mr. Platkin talk about the Arrive Together program and its success, we have to agree that, quote, it is an example of how things are getting better. Mental health is a large topic in today's society, so it stands to reason that law enforcement would be examining it too.
Our last topic today places the spotlight on the Government and Leadership Academy here at MHS.
This program was the inspiration behind the Attorney General's visit.
George, Nathan, and Maeve spoke with students and staff who were involved with the Academy to gain some perspective on the program's inaugural year.
Hello, I'm George Satlos, here at Madison High School with the Government and Leadership Program. We're going to go around and ask members of the Academy some questions. Let's go. But first, we need to know some background on the Government and Leadership Academy. So, the Academy focuses on all aspects of governance here at the high school, especially public policy, administration, ethics, and international affairs. All right, hi. So, I'm here with Mr. Jensen. So to ask a few questions about the Government and Leadership Program, why did Madison start this program, and what are your hopes for the future of this program?
We started the program because we were in conversations with Morris County Tech about potentially developing an academy. And then we came up with government leadership because we felt like it was something that we could really service students with. We had some clubs and organizations that we thought were appropriate, and our staff, really lent itself to having background in that area.
And if you could give maybe a rough estimate, could you maybe say how many people you think applied to the academy this year?
So I don't know how many people apply to the academy. They go through Morris County Tech, and then we kind of get the later results of how many people put in for it. Last year, I think it was around 14 or 15, and ended up being 10 students that came. So I would assume it's around the same numbers, but I don't know.
All right. And as kind of a closing question, what are some of the events you guys have done this year?
So in the beginning of the year, the kids were lucky enough to go to a Mikey Sherrill event and meet her. We had a live Zoom with Governor Murphy right before Christmas break, where he just sat with kids and talked about his experiences. And then last week we had the Attorney General for the state of New Jersey in, who's a former graduate from Madison and went to school here with Mr. Sakala. And he spoke to the students about his experiences in leadership and ethics and things that the kids are studying.
All right. Thank you.
Very welcome.
All right. So I'm here with Mr. Sakala. So Mr. Sakala, you've been teaching in the Government and Leadership program, and I'd like to know, how have students in this program integrated into MHS?
I think they've done a pretty good job integrating into MHS. I think for the most part, most people don't even know that they're not Madison residents. Many of them who have entered into the program. We have kids from Jefferson, Parsippany, Florham Park, Boonton, and other places that I can't think of right now. But I think they've been done a really good job of entering into the school and kind of buying into that Dodger mentality and being great assets to the building.
And what do you like most about teaching in this program?
I've always been very interested in government and politics. This is the type of program I would have loved to have been in as a student. So just being able to teach more specifically to the government, to the political side of things, it's something I really enjoy doing. It's something I find really interesting. So I get to share that passion with the students.
And as a final question, for the upcoming freshmen who will be in this program, what should they kind of expect for this program?
So we're going to continue to try to find authentic experiences for these students. We had the Attorney General come here last week. Next month, we're going to meet the mayor and work a Mayor for the Day program. So we're going to continue to try and find exciting, interactive, and authentic experiences for these students, really get them doing some hands-on work, getting to meet some of the people in the field, get them as much experience as they possibly can before they get out of here.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So I'm here with.
My name is Kushal.
And so what made you want to be in this government and leadership program?
So basically, I like to be a good leader in general. Also in sports, I play soccer, so I also like to be a good captain and leader in general in all aspects.
And do you think the program is making a positive difference?
Yeah, definitely. We're going over individually, like to have the principles of ethics, leadership, ethical differences and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely we're improving as a class as well.
And as a closing question, what is your hopes for being in this program for the next 3 years?
Yeah, it's a great program. I think I'm gonna definitely improve as a person, my leadership qualities and everything. I think I'm gonna improve well. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Every year, we'll have Dodgers who come to study here because of the academy.
So maybe one of them will come back here to speak to future MHS students.
One of them?
One of them.
I'll settle for these 15 minutes of fame. From G50, I'm Michael Keller,
And I'm Ben Preston.
and it's a great day to be a Dodger.